All right, welcome back to the Guard Your Savings podcast here in the height of holiday season with the owner, founder, and insurance professional at Clear Income Strategies, Dolph Janis, as your host. I'm Doug Turnbull, your co-host. Dolph and the crew based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and you can get in touch with them at guardyoursavings.com or dial them up. I like this, Dolph, adding in the phone number 704-919-0149. How you doing, Dolph? And I know you're wrapping things up for the year here and getting ready for the holidays and a big trip with your daughter, too.
Yes, it's hard to believe 2024 is coming to a close. This year's gone by faster than a speeding bullet. I'm not going to use any crazy analogies here, but I love Christmas time. I love what amazes me about Christmas is it's like a time of joy, a time of celebration, and a time of giving. But you still have those people when you go into the malls or you go into the stores that just knock you over for that last G.I. Joe with a Kung Fu grip, saying, I got to have this one, I got to have this one, and there's like 500 more on the same. It's like, I don't know. It reminds me like you go to a buffet and there's a big pile of bacon and they have to take all as much bacon before you get there. So,
yeah, that's definitely not the spirit of the season there. But it's a pivotal age. Your daughter's what, 10 or so, 9 or 10?
10 and a half.
10 and a half.
Yes, you got to remember that half now.
Got to remember the half. So it's right at the edge of the age of innocence, that magic of Christmas for her.
Yes, we do she still has her 4 L's on the shelf. I think it's like candy, pinky, ginger, and another one. I don't know. We have to,
Dolph.
Yeah, we have them. Like they said, they're cooking out s'mores one night. We've had them stuck on windows. I mean, it's a lot of fun because she wakes up every morning still, and she believes, but she knows. But it's fun seeing in the kids' eyes the magic of Christmas, and it's a time of year where everybody can come together and just celebrate, and that's what life's all about, really, if you think about it, because you only get one crack at it. And there's a lot of mistakes that happen in this world, but when you get a chance to celebrate, you got to take advantage of it.
I'm glad you're getting a chance to do that and getting to go see your folks up in the Great Lakes state as well, up in Michigan. And I know it'll be way colder up there down in Charlotte, I'm sure. So I'm sure you guys will be bundled up.
My daughter's praying for snow, and I'm praying not to see it.
So cancel out. You get a little bit of snow, maybe. Well, hey, we're going to talk today about the beginning of your checklist. Although we're at the end of the year, by the time you're hearing this, you may not be in financial mode. In fact, your advisor may well be out on a vacation, all right, and or out visiting family. And probably you should just take a little tiny break from the everyday here and enjoy the holidays. But it's time for the beginning of the year checklist, Dolph. Now, we've had people in quarter four already talking about end of year checklist, getting those RMDs spent or properly distributed, so to speak. And now we're talking about the beginning of 2025. So how do you and the Clear Income Strategies team walk people through setting things up for success for the new year?
When it comes to planning, it's probably the most important part of anything you're going to do in this world. Everything down when you're born, if you're raised and you're going to school, planning for school from the first grades in kindergarten to fifth grade to grade school to high school, you got to plan out your day. And when you go to school, it's all structured. I mean, it's like you got 30 minutes in social studies, you got 30 minutes in English, everything's planned out for you. And they're teaching you to plan. And time management is one of the most difficult things to understand in this world, and how much time you have left every day, every year, the rest of your life. You got to basically put it in the blocks of where you're going to go. It's not just a simple thing like, hey, I'm going to take 20% of my paycheck every week and put it in some investment and cross my fingers and hope it works. I mean, if that's the strategy you want to go with, great. If you want to go with the lottery strategy, go for it. Buy the lottery tickets until you're broke, and boom. If you want to do the go to Las Vegas strategy and just keep on gambling and hope you make it or become a social influencer, fantastic. I mean,
yeah.
But over time, those strategies don't work. And if you've gone on vacation before, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
a couple of times. I know you've probably seen a few NASCAR races over your lifetime,
and many more things. But yes,
right. But I mean, you didn't just wake up on Friday and say I'm going to the race tomorrow and go all the way to Florida, wherever you might go.
Right.
You got to plan the hotel. You got to plan the airline flights. I mean, financial future success is the same thing. I mean, there's statistics you can go out there that the average 50-year-old in America right now has less than $40,000 saved for retirement. I mean, over 50% of people over 50. It's sad because people always wait and wait and wait. When you come to a checklist, I mean, it's a hard thing to do. It takes a commitment, and life is a commitment. When you get married, it's a commitment. When you get a job, it's a commitment. When you go somewhere, you're committing to something. If you have a doctor's appointment, you're committing to go to that doctor's appointment. Dentist, I mean, I can go on and on and on.
Right.
That's what a checklist is. At the end of the day, there is no one right checklist. There is no wrong. We have a checklist here that we supply to people when they log in and go to our site, guardyoursavings.com. We have a checklist that we could provide. It's like a generic checklist on what we believe that you need to focus on. How much you're going to put away for savings, how much you're going to put away for vacation, how much debt you have and how you're going to eliminate that debt. Those are things you got to focus on, because the older you get, the last thing you want to have is house payments, debt going into retirement, if you're depending on when you're going to retire. Some people are fortunate to retire at 55, others 62, others 67. Some never want to retire. Like I said, my retirement goal is when I get 65, I want to go down to 3 days a week. That's my retirement plan. But when you're creating a checklist, Doug, and you're trying to plan something, list it in the right of importance. Did you ever have the X and O when you were growing up, the X and O page where the yes and no on the page, like half the page, all the benefits and all the cons are on the other side of the page?
You just mean like in school, like pros and cons? Yeah, we did pros and cons, yeah.
Were your parents ever like when you were say, wow, I like this job, I just don't know, and on one side of the sheet you list all the pros of it, and the other side of the sheet you list all the cons?
Done a version of that too. Yeah.
Right. Take a tea, take a wine, take a Mike's Hard Lemonade or whatever you might drink, and just sit down with your loved one or yourself and just create a checklist or a pro-con list. And this is how we start when I'm talking with clients and prospects of what's important to you for 2025 going forward for the next 5 years. You want to look farther than that, but realistically, most people have a 5-year time frame of what they want to achieve. It's like I've posted on social media how to save $10,000 in 6 months and not change your lifestyle. And there's ways of doing that. There's so many different ways of taking $5 a day, putting it in a jug, and at the end of the year, guess how much money you have? Do you have a Roth IRA? Do you have life insurance? I mean, all these things, one after another, you can beat a dead horse. But if you don't plan, I always think back to that Seinfeld episode where George and Kramer are sitting in the booth. I don't know if you remember this one. And Kramer's like, George, do you have any plans for life? No. Do you have any realistic reason to wake up in the morning? No. I'd like to get the morning news. But it's like that. He has nothing planned for the day. He has no routine. My 10-and-a-half-year-old daughter, I have to say the half, I'm sorry, is creating a routine is so important. Yeah. But you don't want to be stuck in the same routine. You want to have options going forward. And like when you're planning for the year 2025, I mean, heck, it just seems like yesterday we were at 2000. Now we're 25 years later, and 25 years later, we're going to be at 2050. Don't worry about that. Live today to enjoy tomorrow.
Yeah, live today to enjoy tomorrow. So some of the things I'm hearing on this checklist, Dolph, are how much you want to save or how much you plan to save, how much you plan to spend on vacation, how much debt you have or have accrued, and then also listing kind of the pros and cons or what's important in your life. What are some other things that you might have on this beginning of the year checklist? Because it seems like it's extending beyond finances and it's just life itself.
Oh, it is. I mean, everybody has we have in our parking lot, we share it with the Sarah YMCA. Beautiful complex right across the parking lot. I just always find it funny because in January, the parking lot's packed. February, it's still busy. March, it starts slowing down. But once it gets to April, it's halfway packed. It's like all those resolutions that people make just kind of slowly ways. I mean, I'm a big person. I understand. And losing weight's not an easy, but it's a commitment. And these are things you have to do in life. But at the same time, you have to prepare. You don't want to change your lifestyle. But the 2 days of the year you can't change is yesterday and tomorrow. You can learn from yesterday to prepare for tomorrow. And when you're creating the checklist, again, you want to see what's important. I mean, when do I want to retire? Do I want to retire? Do I want to take vacations this year? Do I want to pay off my debt this year? I mean, what are your goals? Once you list your goals, then the checklist is just simple. And say, hey, this is the way I'm going to do it. We're going to vacation in April. We're going to vacation in September. My goal is to do this, this, and this. Put it down on a piece of paper. And the most important part is hold yourself accountable for it. I mean, anybody, like I said, can take a reservation, but you got to hold the reservation. You got to hold the commitment to planning. And when me and my team here, one of the things that we pride ourselves on is the family customer service aspect of it, where people forget things. It's simple. Yeah. And I mean, even to put a reminder on your calendar, you're like, oh, wow, it's already been a year since I opened that account. Well, we have a staff member here, Laura, where one of her things is every 4 months, she calls every single client. She calls over 250 plus clients every 4 months just to say hello, how are you? Can we do anything for you? I mean, that's customer service. That's just like, because a lot of people don't reach out, and it's amazing how the smallest little thing will come into handy. Hey, I do need this. I need that. Sending out a newsletter, sending out reminders saying, hey, this is coming up. Have you put your RMD in? Have you made your IRA contribution? Have you taken out your RMD? Have you done your OCDs? I mean, all these different things, all parts into goals and checklists. I mean, it's like your oil changed. I love using today's analogy day here on the Guard Your Savings show.
I love it.
When you get an oil change, guess what they do when they have an oil change? They have a long checklist, and they check all these boxes off before they let you drive away.
We hope they do anyway.
We hope they do, yes. We fingers crossed. We're trusting that they do. But if most of the places are honest, if they do it, they do it. And then you can drive away feeling comfortable because you got your car's taken care of, your goals are taken care of, and boom. Remember, money doesn't make you happy. Money is an objective of buying something else to make you happy. Obviously, you want to have money, but you also want to have health. You also want to have friendship. There's so much more to a dollar. And when you're creating things and you're talking to people, Doug, it's, do you need that or do you want that?
Yeah.
When I met my wife 20 years ago, we just celebrated our 20th anniversary a couple months ago.
Congrats.
Thank you very much. She was, I want this. I really want that. Do you need it? No, I don't need that. I mean, how many shoes and purses do women generally have in their closet? Because it has to match. Everything has to match. I mean, but if they have that luxury, great.
Dudes these days are going big on the shoe collections too, right? The sneaker collections, and those are astronomical in value. Yeah, and I'm wondering how some of these guys afford that.
Yeah, well, a buddy of mine at the club, I mean, you open up his trunk to his car, and it looks like Nike store. I mean, he's got more shoes than Carter had liver pills. I mean, it's just unreal how many shoes he has. And it's like, well, depending on the day and depending on the weather and depending on how I feel, this is what I'm going to wear. But but getting back to the checklist and the goal setting is like, there's no right list. There's no wrong list that anybody can create. You can look at our list that we can share with you. You can go on the line, print off. I'm sure there's a bunch of different generic checklists out there. But if you're not going to make the commitment to save, you're not going to make the commitment to work towards checking these boxes off, then don't waste your time with a checklist. Don't waste your time doing it like that. And it's just like, because time is precious. That's all I can say is time is precious.
It is, and even more reason to be organized. So if someone's hearing this right now, Dolph, here we go. If someone's hearing this and they're like, I want some of this material for Dolph and the team, particularly about my finances, I'd love for them to walk me through this. What do you recommend they do? They're not a client of yours yet. They're just hearing about it. Someone sent them the link to the show, which we recommend anybody listening do. Share this. Apple, Spotify, guardyoursavings.com. Flip the link to somebody that needs to hear it. But they're hearing this for the first time. What does a first-timer do, and how can they get in touch with you, and how can Clear Income Strategies help, Dolph?
Well, like I said, we're educators first before we're advisors. Go to our website on the line. You'll see the plethora of information that we give away, the different white papers, the different charts, the different knowledge. Learning is knowledge. A lot of people aren't familiar for what we work with. We work on the safe side. There's the risk side. There's different sides. It's not a one-size-fits-all, which is going to be one of our podcasts coming up shortly. But we like to educate, say, hey, what do you know? What's your situation? Because there's no two situations in the world that I've never met the same situation twice. Similarities, yes. But that's the first thing is like, what are you looking for? And if you don't know what you're looking for, then you got to sit down to yourself and say, what do I want? How old am I? Am I married? Do I have any kids? Are they still on the payroll? Where am I going to be going in 5-10 years? Or am I just going to wing it day by day? That's what we work with people, is making sure they're not winging it. We want to make sure they're prepared. Because I always say this phrase wrong, but a failure to plan is a plan for failure. Is that correct? Is that the right way of wording it?
Yeah, that sounds right to me. It definitely sounds very true. So look, if you're in this situation where you maybe haven't made a plan yet or just haven't had someone ask you the right questions, if you're wondering, by the way, on the precipice of retirement, wondering if you have enough in your portfolio to live the rest of your life, if you are worried about levels in your emergency fund, schedule that 20-minute Ask Dolph Anything session at guardyoursavings.com. You can put it at guardyoursavings.com. It actually clicks through to clearincomeforlife.com, Clear Income Strategies. And Dolph is going to have that 20-minute Ask Dolph Anything call. And he works on protection, not promises, and wants to help preserve your future and grow what you have now. So again, schedule it now, guardyoursavings.com, and get Dolph's free book, Cross the Bridge to Retirement, Keeping Your Financial Future Stress-Free. all of that. You can go to either guardyoursavings.com or even click through to clearincomeforlife.com. And Dolph, I know you don't mind him calling either, right? 704-919-0149.
We're always available. I mean, I don't turn anybody down, age, creed, color, anything. I don't care how much money you have, how little you have. If I can help one person every day going forward, that's 365 people I've helped throughout the year. To me, that's successful.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, guardyoursavings.com. Get in touch with Dolph and the team. Well, happy holidays, sir, and hope you have a great trip. And I know it's been slammed right at the end of the year here, so thank you for spending some time with us, Dolph.
Hey, anytime I get to be with you is a day in heaven.
All right, man. That's the bar. That's what everybody's aiming for. Okay, there you go. No, I appreciate that, Dolph, and I love hanging with you too. He is Dolph Janis, the owner, founder, insurance professional at Clear Income Strategies out of Charlotte, North Carolina, but clients all over the country, by the way. So check them out. Again, guardyoursavings.com. I'm Doug Turnbull. We thank all of you for tuning in and listening. We hope, again, that you can share this. We're on Apple and Spotify and some other podcatchers as well at guardyoursavings.com. Thanks to our producer, Alfred Romero, for getting this published up. We're so glad that he's back in the fold with us here.
He's the best.
He is, man. Alfred's great. And we'll have another episode coming your way here shortly.
Thank you out there, and God bless. And happy holidays.
By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Randall Janis, North Carolina Insurance License number 8483456. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Dolph Janis is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Dolph Janis is licensed in your state, please call 704-919-0149.